Welcome to Medill Sports Talk, where we break down the news this week for the sports you love. I'm Brianna Williams, and today I'm joined by Erik Alcantar and Emmett McConnell to talk about the world's football. That's right, soccer. We're here to discuss the UEFA Champions League. Paris Saint-Germain was eliminated by Real Madrid on Tuesday, but PSG was without Neymar. Erik, do you think that injury gives PSG an excuse for being eliminated so early in the competition?
No, I don't think it does, because Neymar may have cost $263 million. But where was Angel Di Maria and Edison Cavani, who both cost $77.5 million, respectively? Where was Kylian Mbappe, who cost $216 million? This team has spent $1.2 billion, with a B, billion dollars since the summer of 2011, and they have produced nothing in the Champions League to speak of. So no, there are no excuses for me.
You know, when I think about the kind of status Neymar brings to a team, very similar to Messi and Ronaldo. Whenever a player like that is missing, there's going to be some discussion of, what exactly is missing when they're gone. It's an intangible thing of just being in the right position and just the kind of energy that they bring. That said, I agree with you, because that kind of players they have, they should not be getting played out like that on their own pitch in Paris. That's unacceptable. And I think some of that has to come down to the kind of organization brought upon by Unai Emery, the head coach.
Yeah, and I'd like to point out as well that he was not the only player. Neymar is not the only player on this team that matters. He played in the first game, and they lost 3-1. They lost 5-2 on aggregate to Real Madrid. So that really is what kind of brings it all home to me. Marco Verratti's on this team. Julian Draxler started on the bench. This was a team loaded with weapons, and the best they could do was get absolutely run off the pitch by really the worst Real Madrid team in the last 3 years by their own standards.
Well, Emmett, you brought up a very interesting point about Emery, as there has been a lot of speculation that the PSG manager will be relieved of his duties because of this Champions League failure. But is it fair to place these kind of expectations on Emery?
I think it's difficult to say. In some ways, yes. He's not done enough for them. The team is not even a team, really. It's a collection of individual players who don't look organized at any given point. And I think that there is a certain amount that should be given on him. He did well at Sevilla with a team without big names like that, and I think that was kind of his problem. He just didn't have the control over the superstars at PSG. But you look at the coaches before him, Laurent Blanc and Didier Deschamps, both top-tier coaches in their own right, and none of them could get control of the players, and he didn't even have Neymar back then. So he's got a bigger challenge. He's come after bigger coaches. Not sure it's fair to give all the blame on him, given what was put before him.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. Here's the other thing, too. This guy has lost the French League. In his 2 seasons there now, he didn't win the French League last year. He lost it to Monaco. And this is a team that was running away with Ligue 1 every single season before he got there, and now you lose it. Yes, they're probably going to win 3 competitions in France this year, but you spend over $300 million on attacking players, and that's the best you got? I'm sorry, it's just not good enough. It's a results business, and when you don't get results, we all know, you get taken away.
I mean, Erik is right. The Champions League is a notoriously unforgiving competition, and PSG had a challenge right from the start, going up against the reigning champs, Real Madrid. Along with Madrid, Liverpool, Manchester City, and Juventus have booked their ticket to the quarterfinal. Erik, Manchester United and Sevilla square up for a quarterfinal spot. Who do you see joining these other teams in the next round?
I think it's going to be Manchester United, because Manchester United have just found a way all season to get results. They sit second in England for a reason. They constantly get these late goals in situations where you don't think they should probably deserve them. They probably don't even deserve to come into this game at 0-0 on aggregate, because David De Gea had to make 8 incredible saves to keep them in it. But I think at home, we may even see the return of Fergie time. The homage to old Sir Alex Ferguson, their manager, who for years was famous for his teams that would come in at the last minute and score when they probably had no business doing so. So I think the pedigree and the overall performance of the players will be better in this game, and they'll win.
But Fergie time was 8 years ago. You look at them now, they have gone through 2 coaches. You have Louis van Gaal before him. The problem here is that Fergie time is gone. That Manchester United is gone. The theater of dreams is gone. United, under Mourinho, has put no effort to play attacking soccer. They're not going out there. They're not looking for results. They went out on the road in a competition that prefers attacking football from away teams, and he goes out and he's not going for a goal. He's trying for a 0-0. I know that at home it's going to be different, but I see him as a very similar team as PSG. There's just a bunch of individuals. He loses the locker room so easily. Look what's going to happen with Paul Pogba. Sevilla is a well-organized, well-coached team. Man United's going to have something special to win that game.
I don't think it's going to have to be special. I think it's just as simple as they have the best players, they have the best coaches, and they're going to find a way through. Look, Sevilla didn't win a single game in the Champions League group stage. They didn't win a single game in the Champions League group stage at home, away from home, excuse me. So this is clearly a team that struggles to get wins away from Spain. And in the Champions League, you have to be able to do that. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, yeah, they could probably get a 1-1 draw. I just don't see it happening. The moment is going to be too big for them. They had a lot of home field advantage as well in that first game. I think you would agree with me.
Once they get a goal and they draw, that's all they need. And listen, they have the ability to go out and play there. Think of the players they have who played in Spain. Steven Nzonzi, Jesus Navas. These are guys with experience there. They have quality players who I think are going to be very underrated. Look at Wissam Ben Yedder. Name very few people know about, but he succeeds and he's been doing very well in Sevilla. I see this team coming in and being very hungry going into an atmosphere like that. And Man United has been flat. They've gotten results, but they've been flat. And Sevilla plays a completely different team style than English soccer. So it could surprise them.
Well, with opposing sides, as usual, Erik takes United and Emmett takes Sevilla. Well, let's move on to another big matchup on Wednesday. Chelsea travels to face Barcelona after their first match ended 1-1. Emmett, can Chelsea get the result that they need to advance?
Can they? It's always possible. Will they? Not a chance. Not a chance. Not a chance. Chelsea goes into Camp Nou and gets a result. This is a Chelsea team that isn't as good as a PSG team from last year that lost 6-1 in Barcelona. This is a team that went on the road and got slaughtered last year. Very similar lineup, except that they lost their best player, not their best player, but PSG's best player, Neymar, from last year. Now they have potentially a weaker lineup and they have a better result going home. Chelsea's going to have a tough time getting a result.
I would agree with you that it is going to be a tough one, but at the same time, there is one thing I want to point out, and that is that anything is possible on these European nights. Look, the 2012 team that Chelsea took to the Champions League final and won, that team was not regarded by anybody as Champions League favorites. Di Matteo had his players playing out of their minds, and that's what matters on these European nights. Chelsea finished the league sixth that season. This squad proved in the first leg in that 1-1 draw that they can hang with Barcelona. So I am a firm believer that Eden Hazard will show up for this game. I think that someone else, maybe Willian, who's still in form, will show up in this game, and they will find a way to get a result.
They don't have the attacking quality. Is the whole problem here. Willian had a great game last time. Going into Spain, possible, but that gives them two options. Alvaro Morata has been, let's say, a disappointment for them up top. They need goals out of someone like that. Their defense is fine, but against that Barcelona team in Barcelona, with Messi and Luis Suarez coming at them, I don't think young guys like Christensen and guys like Gary Cahill, who, to be honest, are not good enough defenders for me to go in a place like that, are going to be able to keep a clean sheet.
See, but that's the other thing, too. You're forgetting about one other thing. They have the manager, Antonio Conte. Antonio Conte was able to put a master class together for Italy when he was in charge there. He didn't really have the best Italian squad at the European Championships 2 years ago, and he found a way to make and take a machine in Germany all the way to penalties in the knockout stages. He can find a way to get
But
this
he
done.
had guys, Mario Balotelli had 2 goals in that game and was absolutely phenomenal. Was put on a performance that made people think that he was going to be a star player, and look at him now. The problem is, Conte can't get results at home. He's losing big-time games against small teams, games that you need to win if you want a result. Against teams like Watford and Bournemouth.
Clearly, you guys are split, as always. Barcelona with all of these predictions. But we're going to close out Medill Sports Talk this week, and make sure to check out the other segments from MST Episode 9 on YouTube, and follow us on Twitter and Snapchat at Medill Sports Talk. For my analyst and our crew, I'm Brianna Williams. Thanks for watching.